Well, this video is unavailable. It's very weird that it says that. So we're going to go to the YouTube side and see what it did, if we're live or not. Are we live? We are live on the other side. So now I can email out to everyone, edit, send a new link to everyone, update the link. I'm going to be very upset with Riverside that this did not work.
That's fine. We'll make the best out of it. So just send the link to everybody, I guess, and hope that they connect. So we're live right now on YouTube, or
we are live right now on YouTube. I'm just going to send a. I'm just going to update the old video that says they should go to the new link, and then we can kick off.
Yep.
It's just very. Oh, the video is totally unavailable. It's so weird. YouTube completely broke. I don't know what's going on, but we're just gonna go with the flow because we're live on the other side and we've got 21 people who found us. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna kick off. Yep. I apologize to everyone for that bit of hiccup that we had. We've got some issues with streaming that I need to obviously work out, more than just like one accidental issue. So thank you everyone for joining. We are live now for a live build. We're doing AI automations for HR, and we have one of Stack's partners, 50skills, and the CEO Kristján here to talk us through how to do the builds, how to do it super easy, by the way, and how we can actually leverage, the technology these days to fix a lot of the problems that we have in HR. So thank you, Kristján, for joining.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, I'm really excited. We have over 500 people sign up for this. Last time we also had about the same. And I think it's because this is such a big topic for HR right now. We've got a mandate to do something with AI. We've got a mandate to, get rid of the noise, to be more efficient, and tools like 50skills can be really easily leveraged and very quick to implement. And I think that's what I hope we can show today, how to actually build and how easy that is. I think one of the things that, maybe that's a good question actually for you. What are you finding people saying to you about, what they like about what you've got? I mean, I call it the Zapier for HR. That if everyone knows what Zapier is, it's like an automation, it connects things. This is what 50skills does, but for HR specifically and TA. So what are you finding people love the most about what you guys do?
I think the part that's really getting to people now is just that you can describe what you want to an AI agent and it will just build that out. And that's sort of what we're starting to do every day with AI tools. Like most of us are using like chat-based tools, and you just kind of ask them questions and you say, write me that job description or make this better or give me feedback or help me answer this email or something. The same is now, and if you're using, like if you've taken a step further and you're using like, I don't know, products like Lovable or Claude or these things, you're starting to build maybe websites or landing pages or making your PowerPoints easier. We're basically doing that for processes. Like you should just be able to speak out or type or both, and it will build what you have in mind. And it will know more and more context about who you are and what you're trying to do. And so it gets better over time. And I think like for us, it was pretty recent, but I think it was like when the Opus 4.6 model came out, like the most recent one from Claude, like things really just started working like magic. Like it's sort of like this weird feeling that I think most of us have had at some point with AI.
Very, very good. I think they've even got 4.7 now. I think even that's like the most recent, but 4.6 was the one that really changed the game. Like
yeah, everything clicked with it. Yeah.
Everything goes like everything's just evolving so quickly, and it's great that there's platforms that can leverage that. I think let's show people what the platform looks like. We're doing a live build, right? So if you have something you would like to build, a workflow, a process, something that bothers you, please drop it in the chat and we will build it live. So if you've got something off the top of your head, otherwise we've got ideas ourselves, but like it'd be nice to build something that one of you is, maybe you're like, this is really annoying me, I want to try and do this. So we're going to start by showing you the platform and then drop some stuff in there, and then we'll get to it as we do the session today.
So I think like with the platform, I'm not going to do through like these slides and everything, but I'm just going to like kind of walk through the platform itself and what it is and how it works. And we can just kind of go back and forth, but I want to show you guys like just how it functions and then kind of how.
Can you zoom in just a tiny bit?
Yes, absolutely. So let's imagine, just to show you the functionality of something that has been built, and then we'll show you how you build it and how you can use it. So imagine you're like an employee and you have, I don't know, just health benefits. you're as an employer, you offer health benefits. Like you might pay for like flu vaccinations or gym memberships or something for your own employees. And so somebody like, I don't know, let's just take this receipt here, 948 euros in Berlin. You're in Berlin, right? So we can have like a contextualized 1 year. So 948 euros. Some employee fills this form out because they want to get some health benefits or grants or something from the employer. The second they do it, they get added like here to the workflow. And so if I zoom in here, what's actually happening is that this workflow got triggered. Somebody filled out a form. And seconds later, there's like an AI agent here that's basically just reviewing if this receipt is, legitimate. Does it match the amount that, the person said it was, those sorts of things.
Mhm.
And if it's valid, it kind of continues and just tells the person like, hey, your receipt's been confirmed. You're going to get your money back. It can tell the finance team something like, hey, congrats, this has been approved, and the finance team can get like, pay this person back. Here's the receipt. Or you could even integrate this with your finance system and do it automatically. But the point being is you've built a process, you started a process, and then you can have like an agent somewhere in that process to do something. So that's like something is working, and you can have that for like as many processes as you want. You could have like an onboarding workflow or offboarding.
Before you move on, I think it's really cool if you go back to that interface you were on. I do think it is very cool. You can see where people are in the process. You can see what they've completed. See, there's like the progress chart. Like, has someone completed this workflow? Has someone completed from A to Z? Where are they in the process? Because I think that's also like a black box. Sometimes like you have all these processes and you're like, did someone actually do it? Where are they? Did it break? Did it, and I really love that view that you can actually see that.
Yeah,
this
is one of the big benefits. Like if you're like we have one customer is like onboarding 200 people. So imagine this is like 200 people, and every single person is going through like 50 steps, and then maybe like this step hasn't been filled out. Like ask manager whether the employee meets the expectations. Like this form hasn't been filled out. But like if we would fill it out right now, it would kind of like yes, submit it in this demo, and then it turned green. So you kind of like, okay, you see how the whole thing flows for every single person. And I think that's like the governance part that can be really handy when you're running, like 50 actions times 200 people, that's 10,000 actions. Like I think it can be, across everything. So it's sort of a tricky thing. But anyway, so the point is you can build like a ton of these workflows. They can be for your employees, they can be for your supervisors and stuff. But a lot of times it can be tricky. It can be tricky to build them all, like know how to build them, what should you build and why. And so what I want to show you is just how can you actually like just go in there and with a prompt, and I'm going to share the screen here one more time to switch in between an account here. How can you actually go into this thing and just describe with words or text, whatever you want, and the system will just build it for you. And that's sort of the main thing here.
We're going to live build from prompt.
Yes.
So we're just going to be like, build me this workflow, and it's going to go ahead and do it. Let's have a look at this. And
there's many ways. So let's just do like a new one for Jessie here. Let's just build this one. And you have this agent.
Building my workflow.
Yeah. And it's like a new one pops up here. You can decide if it's plan or just build it right away. If you build it right away, it'll just do whatever you're saying. But if you plan, it will kind of have a discussion with you. And a lot of times when you're doing these things, like how you prompt, like people often start with text like this, just build me an onboarding process, like nothing more.
Okay, so let's just say, like, if you think about this, build me an onboarding process, like it can do something. I get that, but like it's kind of like prompting in like Claude or something. Like the more context you give it and the more like stuff, the better outcome you're going to get, right? So like I want an onboarding
100%. Now it doesn't even know if it's employee onboarding or client or vendor.
But it's smart enough to ask you, right? Because this is the plan mode. It's like, all right, tell me what you want, and then like it does a discussion. Okay.
Exactly. And now it's like, oh, collect info. And it's good like as a brainstorming as well. You can just kind of ask it to do whatever, like people fill this thing out and then it's going to trigger, or it's manually added or something that you just described. So you can kind of like, if you're in planning mode, it kind of like, it knows that you're trying to build something, but you gave it like a sentence, right? So in a second, we'll see what this thing will build. And it's going to be pretty basic because we just told this to build. I mean, for some companies, like building an onboarding process, like maybe it's a tiny startup, maybe it's a huge enterprise, the system doesn't know. So it will just try and do whatever it thinks makes sense for you. Now, while this is loading, and we can come back to it later, we could also do, if I just do another workflow here next to it. Oh, sorry, it just came up with a plan here. this is what I want to do. Like, I want to just like update the name of this thing, do like a basic form, just something really simple, 6 steps. And now it changed from planning mode into what's called agent mode. So now the agent is kind of taken over and it's just building this thing. And you can watch it if you want, just like you do with, I don't know, Claude or OpenAI or something. You can kind of see what it's doing, and you can click on the tasks and see exactly how it does everything, how it kind of finished each task. And the workflow will slowly get built here in front of us. And while it's getting built, we can even open up actions just to see like, oh, the format's getting built. Like, how does that look like? And those sorts of things. And depending on the complexity, I mean, this can take 10 seconds to 3 minutes to 30 minutes if you really do a complex one. And so while it's loading, like, I just wanted to show you, like, you can do the basic one, like build an onboarding. But the second you start to do, like you're mentioning with the context, the second you go and say something like, hey, how many people work there? What kind of, country are people based in? What tools do you use? People start on Mondays, whatever. And so this, like, the context can kind of get, deeper and deeper and deeper. And so I'm just going to show you like these these different things. And you can take it even further, and I'll just put this prompt starting right now, super advanced one. Like this, it could be multiple pages in length, right?
Wow.
It can be something crazy.
But this could be like, I'm just thinking like out loud, you have a session with your team. You've probably got an AI note taker these days in your calls. If you don't, then you're taking notes, or you're writing notes in a Notion or a page, right? And you're going, okay, the onboarding needs to have these steps, and you're brainstorming how you want that to look like, right? So you're going to have to document somewhere, like, what do you actually want your onboarding process to look like? That's a thought, like that's the planning phase you have to go through. Once you have that, you can drop it in here and be like, this is what I want, and it'll build that out and obviously ask questions, and you'll be able to adjust it over time. That's what I'm hearing. Like, go from
that's 100% right. Like basically, how can you give it as much? Like, think about if you'd hire a person and you want them to build an onboarding process for your company, how would they know what to do? Like, you'd need to tell them. You'd need to tell them what kind of company you are, what kind of policies you have, like how to do everything. And one way to do that is having a meeting with them and just like, telling everything you can think of, and maybe with multiple stakeholders that know different things in the company. And it can be a voice recording, it can be files, it could be a ton of things.
Voice recording in yours? Could I just like talk to your app and be like, hey, and like leave a voice note, and that the voice note is then like me just going, okay, so I want like a 10-step process, and it's got to have this and it's got to have that, and do my like, can I drop that straight in?
Currently we have like voice to text built in, so you can just kind of start recording and say something. So we can just show, so now it's like this basic workflow that we started, it's built the first version of it. So we can update it with a voice recording to show you. But like, let's say here, like, okay, it's a basic kind of onboarding workflow. So it just kind of asks these super basic questions in the beginning, like, what's your email, full name, phone number, start date? I don't know. Like, you're even putting in this, it doesn't really make sense. You're putting in like the manager's email, like that would probably just like know already what it should be. So when you review this is again from like a super basic one-liner, but it still kind of creates something from it. And so you have this one ready. And then what happens, somebody fills out this form, the trigger, just like we did with the health benefit one in the beginning. And the first thing that happens here is like manager approval form. So now it's like sending this onboarding for approval for the manager. And by the way, I have no idea what we're going to be seeing here. So it's just like, this is the email that we get sent out. And the manager approval form looks like this. So it's basically going to go like employee, Jessie, your email, start date, department. Like, is this okay? Like, approved or not? It's just like a basic...
basic. It's just an example, but I think what would be, so there's a couple of questions. One question is wandering around prerequisites. What kind of prerequisites does a company or user need to have in place before getting started? I think like no prerequisites. I mean, other than approval that your business is happy for you to like use the data, right? Like, you need to decide to like create an account, and you can go in, from my understanding, Kristján, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's free to use. Like, you can quickly like create an account for free. You can go in and like check it out before you actually connect it to anything in your business, right? So you can just decide to log in and like explore a little bit before making a decision, right? And I do know you also have like consultancy that you offer to help businesses as well.
Yeah, so there's two ways. I mean, anyone can just sign up today and try it for free, and you can go into this tool and you can put in like whatever you want in here and just see what it builds, right? And the free account has like, I think it's like 500 credits, but it's like plenty to just start getting building and trying things out and seeing whatever you want to build with it. So that's one way, and you can just see if it works for you. The other way, like if you're like serious about it, you maybe want to go for like digital transformation. You have 30 processes, 50 or whatever. Like you really want to go on this path of taking one thing and automating it or a bunch of things. We do offer like to have our own people or consultants that kind of know this platform in and out that are like helping you build on it. And so if you want to have like a team help you out with like, I don't know if you have like super complex ERP, setups that you want to make sure are pulling or pushing the data in certain directions, you can do that.
Yeah.
But I want to show you the one. Sorry?
Maybe just before we move on, there's another, there's a request for interested in a performance management process automation. Is that something we could have a look at as an option?
Yeah, so an incident management one?
Sorry, performance management.
Yeah, absolutely. We could, so now we started this huge workflow here.
So we're going to go through. So just for everyone to follow us, we started with the simple, hey, I want an onboarding. It gave us a very basic onboarding. Now we've got the huge, long contextual prompt that gives like all the detail.
Yeah.
We put that in and it will then build something obviously much
more. And this is like a 12-pager, right? So this 12-pager here, like it's going to build it out. And
you wanted some context.
Yeah, and before we go into the performance one, and we can do that, and we can build as many as we want just while we're here talking. And whoever is listening, like you can, if you want to, put in a detailed prompt, and Jessie, you can send it to me, and we can just put it in the live thing and see what happens. The thing that's really interesting here is like, how do you get a prompt like this? Like, how do you actually build it? And we have had these workshops lately where we've been testing some really interesting ways and how you can just find the visuals here. These workshops where people show up. This one was in Stockholm. This one was in Reykjavik. This was what was also in Stockholm. And basically people show up at these workshops. And what they do is that we ask them to be on a table and just take a phone and record themselves talking. And they can be in Swedish or like whatever language people want. Just record the conversation. And the people on the table, they pick one workflow. It could be onboarding. It could be performance reviews, like someone was suggesting, what was security, something. And they just talk about how are they doing it today? And like, how would they want it to get done? Like ideas of stuff they are kind of irritating them or could be done better or whatever. And they can list up like all the systems they use, whatever methodology they want to like use for kind of describing how they think they should work. That recording, like in those workshops, is usually about 30 minutes. That recording is turned into a transcript. And we take that transcript and we put it into this huge prompt here. And the output that comes out of it is basically a prompt that we put into this tool that we have. Mm-hmm. And that will build oftentimes one shot, maybe a 30-step, 40-step workflow that's really thought out. It's not like the basic onboarding one that we saw in the beginning, where maybe if you just say like, hey, create me a performance review workflow, you'll get a performance review workflow. But like what should it do? How should it work? Why should it work that way? What tools should it do?
So why don't we do a not like a super long prompt, because I'm not going to talk out a super long
prompt. Yeah, just something. Yeah. Anything.
We could do give me a performance review process based on what someone's asked, where it automatically sends out. So can there be a date trigger?
Anything. I'll just say whatever I'll just repeat whatever you're saying here. Okay. Jessie demo just like performance review Jessie, just so we can find it again. So
unless someone else wants to, no, I'll do it, because I think they just said performance management process automation. Okay, so we're going to say I want a performance management review process.
Yeah.
That is triggered on the first of every quarter, like the first day in every quarter, and sends a manager feedback form and a employee feedback form, and then via email. And then
it can be detailed or not, like you can just whatever you want.
And then let's leave it at that. Let's just pretend that's yours.
We'll do the plan. We'll do the plan thing just instead of the other one. And then it's not like, and you can choose whatever comes up. I'm just like a facilitator here. So it's and this is, by the way, not planned. Like you might think like, oh, they planned this. Like this is not planned.
This, because this who asked in the chat about this. This is someone calling from Turkey, asked for a performance management process. I actually haven't done the new prompting where it's like I've obviously used 50 skills to like build stuff, but I have never done the prompt building yet. So it's quite cool. Okay, so what are we doing? Keep the trigger.
Yeah, do you want to start it with like you fill out a form, or should you just like whatever, you can pick whatever you want. Like just okay, we'll pick.
That's fine.
Sure. Okay. And then who is we call it so the person going through the workflow, the journey is called a traveler. So it's
Okay,
just a person.
employee.
Yeah. So an employee. And then we have the what kind of questions should be on the manager feedback form? Standard, simple.
I want a standard performance review.
Okay. Whatever you want. And then the fourth one, what kind of questions should be on the employee self-assessment form? Standard as well,
Yeah.
or something?
Yeah, let's go standard. See what it
Yeah.
says. Let's see what it builds.
Exactly. And then, I mean, you can also see what happens and you're not happy and you can just update the whole thing or turn this, like somebody calling in from Turkey, like do this in a different, like rewrite this entire thing in Swedish or Turkish or whatever you want. So I think that's also like a lot of times just like, oh, you built something, but just like, how can we make this work for, like, so that's an interesting one. So now it has the plan built and it says here, okay, let's just go for this one, update an external form, create a branch with 2 paths. If you don't like what he said, I mean, you could just say, no, I don't agree with it, do it differently. But it's just like,
let's just go with the flow and say yes.
Wow.
Someone asked, Christian, someone asked in the chat, is this enterprise ready? And the other one is asking for a workflow. So we can answer the enterprise ready in a second. Interested to see a workflow and how we can use interview feedback from shortlisted candidates for the training paths that we create for primary and secondary skills. So a workflow using interview feedback. So you want to take interview feedback from shortlisted candidates for a role, or I think I need more details.
Yeah, I think I get what they're talking about. So we can just, I'm putting what I think they're talking about, like interview feedback, Jessie, just like kind of, so just, we can have a bunch of these running at the same time. So I'm just gonna like record myself talk. We forgot to show people how that works. So it was like, I want to build an interview feedback workflow that works in a way that whenever somebody has like done an interview, we have the transcript of what happened in the interview and all the notes and everything about the candidate. And we want to take a look at that and have the AI come up with a conclusion if they, what they feel about the candidate. Let's just say if it's a positive review, negative review, some follow-up questions to ask, and some specific questions for the recruiting team to think about. I just put something there, like the person who asked this. If you want to have something else, I think they've got, because they talk about a candidate, but they also say training pathway. So I'm not sure, because candidates usually don't, unless they've like hired into the job, don't have training pathways. So I think I need more clarification from who asked the question. But we'll go with this for the purposes of the. Yeah, and I just randomly answered it so we can take a look at it later. But the idea is you get some sort of a thing planned, and then you kind of see how it can flow. And let's take a now we have the big one, just so you kind of see what's going on. So here we had so this is actually how we built our own onboarding for our own company for new hires. So we hired someone 2 weeks ago. This is what we put them through. And it's literally just like you're starting, like you're going through like all the details of who's joining, why. You're going through what was it? Like you kind of have systems equipment, like you have this, what is this? The supervisor is picking like all the stuff that people should get, like all the tools and other systems, and like should they get a computer or something, like you, in our case, like the supervisor picks the equipment, but like sometimes the employee can pick. So it's just an interesting one. And once this one is finished, it's kind of doing like, it's sending messages on Slack with whatever was picked. So like the people buying it can go ahead and do that. It's waiting with like welcome announcements. So it's sending a welcome video for me. So this is like, we did a recording, like this is like how it should work. So it's a welcome video for me that go out to people. People can put in a fun fact. And this is interesting.
So you can see with the context, right? You can see what kind of workflow it builds. And I think with a lot of these things, everyone thinks, well, AI is just going to make things faster, and these tools make everything, better and quicker. They do, of course. Building out the actual program, you can see you can do it by copy pasting prompts. You can see it by dropping notes. You can voice notes. But the end, I always like people to think about, you've still got to have the idea of what you want your process to look like. Where are the human touch points? Who is involved in the process, and mapping the process, whether that's in a Notion document, in a voice, in a transcript, somewhere that you actually know, what do you want someone to go through. The part that is accelerated is then, once you know what you want, building it out used to be like awful, right? Imagine having to build this out one by one, hand pick every single thing. Like you can go from like 0 to 90% in a couple of minutes. and then you do the final tweaks. And I think that's what
it's also like drag, even like drag and drop tools. Yeah, it's great. You can do everything manually. Everything you're seeing the agents build here, you can do it manually. You can like pick a Slack thing and send a message and integrate it and configure it and take a look at how it works. That's fine, right? But the point is like just taking the time to do all that. It can be time consuming if you're building like 10, 20, 30 workflows. So what we're seeing is that when the cost or the effort of building has dropped so dramatically, people are now seeing it's worthwhile to build all sorts of workflows, right? You could have an internal event, Jessie, like we could have a stacked event in 1 month somewhere. And you could literally just go and record and say, hey, we're hosting a stacked event. People sign up, want to get a reminder, like, I don't know, 2 weeks before, a week before, day before, on the day.
Yeah.
And it's done. It's ready. Like, and it will do it. And that's sort of the part. But what's also interesting here, so I mean, we can go through this in detail, but you cannot get the idea. What's interesting here is that this workflow you're looking at is what we call deterministic. Like when this workflow finishes, like when this action finishes, the next one will run, right? But this action, the agent, so now we have an AI agent, and it's building other AI agents, which is sort of a crazy notion. It's like an Inception kind of thing to think about. The agent we talk with built this agent. So whenever this agent runs, in this case is running on OpenAI, you can swap that to Claude if you prefer Anthropic. So you can pick what the models you want. But like this agent, the only thing that it will do is that it will basically take a look at the information about the fun fact about the employee. And it will, like, that's the only instructions it had here. And it will like write a welcome announcement for the Slack general channel. That is the only purpose of this agent. And it will have like information about the employee, like their name, their start date and stuff. And that's the only thing it will do. And if you want to like change the instructions, you can like, generate something else with AI. But like the point is like, it's really interesting, just like how you see all the instructions happening. Like, and so when you're thinking about like, we had some enterprise questions earlier about like compliance and stuff. Like in this case, you can see every single person going through a workflow. You can see exactly what AI agents were used in that workflow. You can see exactly the prompts that were used by those AI agents, what information they received, if they received any PII data, how that was used, why it was used, in what purpose. You have the full paper trail. And that's something that's really hard to do with probabilistic agents like your Copilot or ChatGPT or something, where every employee can ask for anything and just make it happen. So it's a different kind of workaround. So I think also,
more or less, you're saying it is possible to use in enterprises. It is secure. It is built for use in that type of business.
Absolutely. It's like all of the models that we're using are actually hosted in Europe. So we made sure to do like enterprise agreements with both OpenAI and Anthropic. So they're hosted in Europe. There's zero data retention. The model is never trained on what people are using when they're talking with it. So it fits into all those categories. And it has a ton of like security standards, penetration testing, all the things that enterprises want to see. And there are big airlines using this, cities using this, central banks. Like, yeah.
There's a question here about how does the data security and GDPR work if you're using like ChatGPT or Claude within your product? Like what's being shared?
Yeah.
What's that?
So let's just say we have here an agent somewhere. Let's just click here on. So there's AI used in 3 places. I think it's also interesting to just, where is AI used and how? So one place where you use AI is here. You're talking to this, what we call the navigator here. You're talking with it. You're asking it to update workflows that we built. In this case, the performance review one. And whatever you're putting in here, like this basically goes into the servers are hosted in Europe from our providers with Anthropic, and the prompts go in. It comes with a response. It doesn't host. It doesn't store what you were putting in. It basically deletes it after the usage. So it's only kind of doing the response and going back. Also, so that's the zero data retention. It doesn't retain the information. The other thing that's really important, it isn't used to train a model. So whatever you put in here, that's not going to Anthropic. They're not using it to make the next model better. Like it's not going to do any of that. Those are like the 2 most critical ones, I believe. Zero data retention, not being used to train a model, and actually hosted in Europe. And why we picked Europe is because it has the highest security in the world of all the continents. And so people, like, even if you're in the US or in areas outside of Europe, you're typically okay with having it here because it's sort of it has that security standard. Regarding GDPR, like GDPR is a different thing. That's more about like people have the right to know if their data was used, where, how, when, why, get it sent, get it deleted, those sorts of things. And that's also super easy to do because what you can, I mean, you can have rules that automatically, like you can have a step in a workflow that automatically deletes the data after a certain time period. You can also, if somebody would request the data to get deleted, you can, and we'll kind of go into the thing. You can literally look up all the people that have been through a workflow. You can click them and you can see how many times has this person been added to a workflow, when, where, why, how, and you click them and you can see, you know, what happened, why that happened, those sorts of things. And so it's like, and then you can, it's a bad example here, but you kind of get the idea of what you can do with it.
But when you're connecting your HRIS data, for instance, like you're connected to Slack, you're connected to this, you're connecting to that, like these are all systems, right? Very like secure systems. You're not feeding that data into the AIs.
Not unless you would want to. In some cases, there might be snippets of information that you might want to put in. So let's take an example here. You're building an onboarding workflow. And in the onboarding workflow, I think it was here, it was the admin that it was the supervisor that is like deciding on something. You might want to sync your HRIS with this system. So whenever you're hiring someone, you can see a list of all the supervisors and pick the one that makes the most sense. And that list might live in your HRIS. It might sync between, so it's always up to date. So the stuff you have in your HRIS,
between 50 skills and your HRIS, not between that and Claude.
Yeah, exactly. But then in Claude, you might want to, for whatever reason, like if you're putting this in an agent somewhere, you might want to say, like here, the message that's going to in this case, the OpenAI agent, you can see this is the information that's going through. In this case, it's saying, hey, here is the person's name. And here's maybe the person's supervisor, but you can control what goes in there.
Yeah. And so I think this is all on just from a perspective of like, you have control what touches it, where and what. If you don't have you don't need to, and also your businesses obviously need to approve the use of the tool. That's what I said at the beginning. You can get in there and have a look, but you need to like checking before you hook up your systems in the business, right? This is a business tool. It's not a play around like with a data tool. Like any of these tools with HR stuff, you have to always have permission, make sure it's set up, make sure the business knows you're using it, make sure they're happy with all of the agreements in place and everything. And then you can see and make sure when you're building with data, you know what you're choosing, when to use AI in a way that you're happy with as a business. I think that's the main thing, right?
When you're connecting it, you can basically just click the plus. You can pick. I mean, you can also ask the AI to do this, but like it basically you can connect apps from like the marketplace. And so if you want to like connect stuff like Slack, that's super easy. It's like takes 5 seconds to just OAuth it, as long as you have like admin control of your Slack. If you don't have admin, you just need to ask someone in your company to do the authentication. So that's really easy with everything in the marketplace. But if it's not in the marketplace, you can also just add any custom integration you want. And when when you add it, you can also decide what are the actions I want to show there. So for example, like an HR system might have API connections to 100 things, but maybe you only want to be able to do 3. Maybe you only want to be able to like create a user, maybe archive a user, or update records or something, not something else.
So you're saying there's a lot of control in the system, flexibility, but also control in the system.
Exactly, yeah.
There's a request for another workflow. Where was it? I just lost it. Oh, process that collects basic information in a form from the new hire. So it says specifically it says specifically in DocuSign. I don't know if we need to do that for this purpose, but let's say basic information in a form from a new hire, including important documents. And then the process is then, the data is then sent to, when they're onboarding, I guess, access is then a controlled SharePoint file. So it sends it to creates like maybe a document folder where that person's documents live that no one else can access.
Super common one. So let me just re-say what I think was just said there, and then we'll build that unless there's I'm missing a point here. So it's somebody wants to collect information about a person, create an employee contract or some sort of a paperwork contract with the person, and then store it.
I think less of the contract and more of collecting the information. So I don't know, your birth certificate and your form, your data that you need to fill in for payroll, and then putting that data collected into an employee file that's secured to only that person in HR.
Let's just do that one right now. So we want to try and build a workflow where there's a person that we are hiring. We want to collect some key information about them that needs to be put into a contract of some sort. It could be an employee contract. And it should collect all the fields and information we need from the employee and maybe from the company as well. Maybe they have some information to fill out. That creates the contract. And once the contract has been signed with a e-signing, let's just use DocuSign, we would like to then store it in the HRIS system, which in this case is SharePoint, right? So yeah. Maybe there was something else that this person would have wanted to see. Like we can of course edit that. So we'll just see how it does this part here and what we can do with it. While this is loading, we had a couple of requests earlier that have been finished now. So I think if we go here for the interview feedback one, we created a really basic one based on this prompt, but let's just take a look at what it was. So interview feedback submission, like somebody's putting in like the transcript and the candidate notes. This was the one that we had talked about, the one we had like the interview feedback workflow. It then built this agent. This is an interesting one. The agent, it has these systems. I mean, I haven't seen what it says, so it's going to be fun here. You're an expert recruiting analyst with deep experience in evaluating interview performance. And it kind of asks you to consider a bunch of things here. Be honest, balanced, and specific. And here below, it does interesting things. And this is a little bit different from when you talk with ChatGPT. It's going to bring up these 4 results here. And the results is like the overall sentiment of, so basically it says analyze the transcript and the notes. Here's the transcript and here are the notes. So you have all of this in one prompt. And it's going to create 4 results from the prompt. One is like just the sentiment. Is it positive, negative, or mixed? Like sentiment analysis of the whole thing. Next one is review summary, like provide a comprehensive summary of the performance, the highlighting key strengths, weaknesses, whatever is here. Follow-up questions, like what are the 3 to 5 questions to ask this candidate? Mm-hmm. And then some considerations to have here, 3 to 5. And so it's really interesting because we could now take, like we could literally take this link right now, because share it, it works. We could put in a transcript from an interview and candidate notes, and this workflow would work. The agent would do it. We could do this with 500 candidates at the same time, bulk upload them into the system, and you would get the results from all of them. And then you could even review and see the results from all of them in like a table where you maybe filter them out by the sentiment or whatever. You could start to put conditions. Yeah, conditions here. Like we had or is it, if I build manually just to show people, like, let's just branch this out.
It's so funny that we're like, oh God, we have to build something manually these days, you know, like it's always like, oh God, we've got to click something ourselves, you know.
Yeah, but I'm finding myself like more and more, like I used to build all of this manually, right? I know how to build it all manually, but like now that you have the agent, you save so much time. Like people are saying 95% of the time is just saved. And also when you're updating things, because just writing this in email, like that takes time to think about what should it say and
I know it's like starting from a note. I always say to people, like, don't start with a blank page. Like, get your ideas down, get an idea, and then tweak it. Obviously, you need to know where you want to go, but like starting from 0 is always harder. Like, give me a draft of an email that says this kind of stuff, and then it'll give it to you, and you'll probably go, ugh, and then you'll go, oh, but I can adjust that, you know. Rather than having to like type the email from 0, it's always like harder. Editing is easier than starting from 0 all the time. As long as you definitely edit. I think this is important for me that like there's always a human step. People review it. You do have to go through every step with a fine-tooth comb, making sure that you do understand what the process does. Like I don't recommend people just like building a process, being like, cool, having a quick look and like implementing it into a business, right? You do need to understand your own processes, what each step does, that you feel confident with what the process will actually execute. And there was someone who asked, does this connect to Workday?
It connects with anything. So you can basically just go here and you can go. So that's the thing. I can just show you.
Allows it, right? Your business has
it has things in the marketplace, which is like a click and connect thing. So like a Slack thing has something called an OAuth connection. You can literally just click it, add it, connect it. And if you have access, it's there. But other tools don't allow that. Like, so tools like Workday and bigger ERP and HRS systems, they often have like strict API access. It could be a little bit tougher to set them up. But when that's the case, you go to settings, you go to the custom integrations, you add a new custom integration, you write whatever the tool is, in this case, Workday. And when you're adding it, like this is the technical part, there's like all sorts of ways of authenticating it. This is the part where you get someone, if you're doing like we call it like tier 1, 2, or 3 type of integrations. If it's like a tier 3, the hardest types, you get someone technical on your team to help out, or you get someone on our team to help you out setting that thing up. Once it's been connected with whatever authentication methods that are there, you can then, whenever you're building stuff, like just in an onboarding journey or something, just say like, in this step now, create a user in Workday, and it will just show you the 5 fields, and it will work seamlessly.
Yeah.
So it won't. So it will only be when you're connecting it at the beginning when the kind of friction points can come up.
Okay, so Kristján, I want to see if it's building this this
Yes.
one, the most recent build that we just put in.
We had
That was,
we forgot to answer the clarifying question. So let's put that in here. So this is
clarifying questions.
something here, and we can. I'm just entering in some method here. We had some other ones ready while we wait for it. We had this is the process that's building now. We had the interview feedback we've already checked out. The performance review, did we check that one already?
I don't think so. Let's have a look.
Yeah. This is a basic one. Email, full name, and the manager email. And then it has these 2 types. The manager just like gets an email that says, it's, hey, it's time for the quarterly performance review. And then it built these questions. We had, I think it was standard questions or something.
Yeah.
So this is like
goal achievement,
but
competence.
still, I mean, this is still
Right.
huge.
I
Like,
mean, to be honest, if anyone's ever used a standard HRAS like talent module add-on, this is like I would say sometimes it's even worse than like they don't even have half sometimes this stuff, right? Like they're sometimes very bad. So like there's only so many things you can ask in a performance review, right? And I guess your exact process, you would build your exact process and your questions, you probably got them already. It's just a matter of like, and I'm sure you can actually upload those things, right? You can say these are the things we have, this is what we want, just build it into the process.
You can take a photo, or you can draw a photo of a workflow and take a picture of it and just put it in here.
That's so cool, right?
So I'm not going to promise it will know what you're trying to say, but like it just like an AI, like you can put that into ChatGPT or Claude or whatever. You can
Gemini, try and understand it.
See what if it can understand what you're trying to convey. You can use that as well.
Yeah.
And so I think context is king, or like it's the most important thing. So if you just go and say this prompt, fine. But if you have a file that has information about who you are, what your company is, what you're trying to do, why you're trying to do it, like what are your goals, what are your kind of challenges?
Yeah.
Just a great starter. Like it's huge.
I do think it always used to be, I feel like for HR, it always used to be like, oh, tech is the issue. It's like setting up the tech, implementing the tech, getting the tech, Now I don't think the tech is the issue anymore. We've got so much access to tech. The tech is amazing. The issue is not the tech. It's what do we actually want as a business? What are we trying to do with this process?
Yeah.
How does it map across all the other processes? It's like all the upfront work that
I completely agree with you. It's also just like I'm just seeing this day and day again. Like I'm doing these talks and these workshops all over the world every single week. Like everyone has some sort of a roadmap, right? But most of them, they haven't done a single thing. They do not have a single workflow that's truly automated, built with AI in it, that's really working, that's saving them time. Not one thing to show for. Like, and that is like the key. Just get one thing. Like, it doesn't matter what tools you get. Just get one thing really working that you go, this is incredible. Like, this is how we should do it. And then you can get people on board and going, okay, now we do the 12-month roadmap on this one thing that's actually working. And so, and it's not like the ideas. So like, it's now cheaper and quicker to build before you plan. So just go in, say whatever idea you have before you go to lunch. See the thing get built, come back. If it's what you think it was, use it. If not, throw it away. Because the cost of planning is just, it used to be different. And so this is like the
planning is different to understanding what the outcome is that you want. I think you need to know what outcome you're looking for. And you can throw ideas very quickly now and build very quickly. Yes. And then you can say, did that get my outcome? Like, is that what I was expecting? And then the adjustment and the quickness of like tweaking and right? Like you don't want to draw it on a piece of paper and have it, like you don't want a planning document sitting in a drive somewhere. You want to have active working sessions, ideation that goes straight into tools that then pumps out an answer quickly so you can validate quickly. I still think people do overstep the, what do I actually want to build? And what, you don't just want to put in you don't want a performance management plan. Like if you just say that, you'll get like a very generic whatever. What are you trying to achieve in your business by doing this workflow? What is your current workflow?
Yeah.
Like and it doesn't mean planning is big. I mean, like, have a working session. I hate meetings, but I love working sessions.
Yeah.
Get a couple of people on a call, get a transcript in there, ideate your crazy for 30 minutes on this one little topic, throw it into the system here, and then like let it build something from like the discussion you had and the ideas that you have, and like
Yeah.
improve what you've got. You know,
And
that's how we need to work these days.
you also get so much better. So the thing is like, so let's be like, what's actually happening? What's actually like going on when people do these things? If you do the recording, you do the audio session, you put a workflow in, what will happen is what you see is maybe 80% there. And the easy part is getting the 80%. It's not going to be 100% because you didn't say the 100% when you talked to it. That is the thing. If you would have done that, it would have gotten it. But like, it's always missing that context. So when the first person is moved through that workflow, the first person is going through, what are we building here? The new hire process here about the DocuSign thing. You will learn something that you forgot to mention when you did it. So you will update it. And version 13 of that workflow is the version that you will be using, and you will love that version.
Yep.
But you can't one shot. You're not going to be able to do I mean, if it's super basic, you can one shot it, like the event thing I told you. But like if you're doing
it's like an onboarding program. Like usually companies start with a basic onboarding and then they slowly add to the onboarding program over time. And in 12 months from now, the onboarding program's way better than it was 6 months ago, right?
Yeah.
Same idea with this. I think the thing is, know where you want to go, get something out, make and get it down out of your brain into. That's why I like this tool, because you can get something out of your brain very quickly and into something and see it in real life.
Yeah.
Get it going. So when people are like, we need to have an onboarding and this needs to be automated from this to this, you can go, yep, I can do that. It maybe isn't version, you know, like you said, it's not going to be the final beautiful version, but you're going to have something executable straight away.
Yeah.
And then you chip away at it and you build it and you make it better and you get feedback.
But this is the person that was asking for this.
Create from a new data, create a document, get it signed, then put it in a folder.
So let's walk through this, and I'm even going to go further. I'm going to just like run this thing and see how it works. Okay, so we can do a live example. I think it's ready now. Yeah, let's just publish it and let's just go through the
publishing on the go. Literally one prompt, publish. Let's run through it. Let's see if it got close to what we want.
Own stuff in here, and I'll just put in marketing manager. That's the thing where, and it's going to happen on May 1st, and I'm going to have a 60K salary here. And home address, I'm just going to do, I'll just do our office here in something like this, whatever. Okay, so I filled this out now. So let's take a look at what happens. I filled this out. I don't even know what the workflow is, so it's going to be fun to see. I filled out a form, and now I got an email sent that says, hey, you know, this person just submitted this, please fill out the information flow. So I can copy the link here or I would just open this up in my email and see it. And so I'm putting in the manager name. I'm Jessie, department. You're in marketing office. Where are you in, Jessie?
Berlin.
Let's just have fun with this thing here. So fill it out. What happens next? It now creating the employment contract. And let's take a look at that one. So it actually had an employment contract here, which is
obviously you would have a template uploaded for your company.
Yeah, you can have it. You upload your own template filled out based on that one here. But still, it's me. It's the address. It's you as the, and it's the start date, and it has the salary, and it has. I mean, this is sort of ready here, and so it fills out this. I mean, this is built on the flow like in seconds, right? Like, of course, we can fine tune it and make it better. Here's the integration part. Now we haven't done the integration with DocuSign, so it just created like integration that hasn't been that hadn't been connected. So it just does an error. What I can do here is, of course, I can go and build the integration and make that work, but I can also just do like a skip to show you here, and it would just skip the steps. Here. If it would have had the integration ready, it would kind of move on with these steps. Now, what I would do now with integrations, I would say, okay, this integration with DocuSign is not ready because we hadn't in this demo account connected DocuSign. So what I can do there is basically create that integration, replace this with the integration with DocuSign, and then we would basically connect the thing together and it would work. Yep. So that's like the friction part when you're doing these things. And some of the integrations are more challenging than the others. But that's basically.
Where does it put it?
In this case, it says, please upload to SharePoint. So we would basically need to go plus custom integration. It doesn't
SharePoint.
have SharePoint, so we need to create something called SharePoint and like do the endpoints and then.
Yeah. So basically, you can make the workflow and do what we want to do. You just have to have the integrations from your business, like obviously set up.
Until it has those, it will just basically
like noting that. I think what people, this tool is a connector. Like it is a workflow builder and connects data from one place to the other. So you don't have to manually transfer it. So if you don't have the systems access, right, then you can't push data into one system to the other. It's the same with Zapier. Like if you use Zapier, you still have to give it access. You still have to do same with Claude. Doesn't matter what you do, you have to allow the systems to talk to each other. And that is always a technical step. Sometimes there's built-in things. Sometimes it's easier. Sometimes it's harder.
And the system tells you, the system tells you as well. So it's just like, oh, it isn't integrated. It's not here. And you could even go like, I don't have an integration technical skills to connect these things. Can you please draft an email to someone technical at my workplace and tell them what to do? Like you can kind of just like work your way towards it. Or maybe you have this in your Copilot or whatever, making these things easier. No, so this is sort of like it's just interesting what we can do with it. What you can also do, and this is sort of an interesting one, you could also ask like in depth about let's just take this process here. Like, can you explain in detail what this workflow is and how it works, so I can share with my team how it works? And you can sort of just like click agent or do this plan, whatever it works, and it will basically write that for you. So oftentimes you're also seeing a workflow and you have no idea what it is. So here it's just like, oh, this is an interview feedback workflow. This is the purpose. This is like all the things we're collecting. Is this okay? Like it makes the whole thing easier.
Yeah, that's very cool. A couple of questions here that we can answer, and then we've got to wrap up because we're about to finish off. So I think I can answer this. Does it have plugins? Can we connect to external tools? Absolutely. They have a marketplace of like already pre-connected things that you can like, obviously you still need to give the authorization to connect, right? That there's ones that are like more a few clicks and you're connected as long as you have access. And then there's deeper ones where you have to like go a few more steps to connect them. But yes, you can connect to other external tools. That's the only way this works really, more or less, for it to be like really leveraged. And then for a free account, how many, or free like to start an account, how many credit tokens can be used or are used for creating workflow? Like, I don't know, every workflow I guess is different how complex it is. And would a premium account be needed? I think yes, but maybe Kristján, you can answer that better.
Yeah, so you can sign up and try the product for free on our website, just and play with it. There's I think 500 credits, which should be plenty for you to do everything I've shown you here today and way more to play with it. The true credit cost is more when you start using it at scale. So like if you're like, you can build a ton of stuff, but when you're like actually adding people through the workflows, like if you're adding like then you kind of check, and then you probably want to get an account that's paid and make the whole thing work. We're also offering, I think, as part of the partnership with Stacked here, an exclusive discount. So if you have the hidden URL here,
I'll send it in the link, but you'll also get it in the follow-up email. If you sign up through that link for a demo, you'll get 20% off and also 1 hour of free consultation to help set up things. And
absolutely, you just sign up here and you can actually book a session with any of us. We'll hear who you are, what you're trying to do, and tell you exactly how, and help you build out what you're trying to start with, and then then you're off to the races.
Yeah, I mean, Kristján, thank you so much for taking us through all of that. I think it was pretty fun. You get to like see live like how a tool works and how quickly you can go from like 0 to something. I think that's what, I love these sessions and doing, seeing all different tools, because, you've got the more generic tools like Claude, and we go through and I do workshops with, how to use Claude. But I mean, your product's specifically built for HR workflows, it is specifically built with HR in mind. So it is really powerful to leverage. So I hope everyone has enjoyed seeing what is possible these days, has some ideas about what they could possibly build. Please do go in, like create a free account, like why not play around with it, even if it's just the learning of like how to build out workflows. Yeah, I really hope everyone enjoyed today. Thank you so much for taking us through, Kristján. And please make sure to, you can find them on LinkedIn, you can find me on LinkedIn. And of course, I have more sessions coming up. I do 1 to 2 a month of, these kind of learning sessions where we can like get stuck into a tool and see how to use it. So please watch out for the next ones and enjoy the rest of the day, everyone. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having us. Take care, guys.